Hello, everyone. Okay, I think we are gonna get started now. So it's good to see so many of you are interested in this new series, right? Vivek, what is this new series? You haven't really posted much about it yet. True, I think we are gonna get an idea today itself. Probably this is the first video, and we'll probably be looking at problems that are in different spaces, right? So I'll actually be thinking about problems from different OAs, different types of rounds that have happened in different companies. And in this series, the agenda is to help you learn everything that is required. Number one, you will learn about DSA, which I think, anyways, we have been covering in this channel on lead code streams and all. But over time, what I understand is many people kind of want to see what is really coming in hiring and how to kind of master that, right? So this is a little bit related to placements and stuff like getting offers and all. And we're going to talk about different kinds of OA questions, different kind of interview questions that are super interesting, different kind of LLD, HLD round questions that are being asked in different companies. And we'll also talk about other things that are relevant to things. Okay, both LLD, HLD, machine coding things related to this we'll talk about in this thing. Okay. Happy Independence Day. Yes, absolutely. I think the first thing I should say is Happy Independence to everyone, at least who are watching from India. I think mostly people are watching from India. I've Google intern this. Do prepare DSA and all. Thanks for picking up the. Yeah. So, how do you get your question asked and discussed in this particular stream? So you can submit your question in the form below, right? I'll actually, like, you can see in the description there is a link that is there. I'll also pin it after this particular live stream. So that is a form where you can submit a question of any of the four types that I'm going to take in these streams. And today I'll be taking two problems because two of the good problems that has been submitted, and maybe we can look at what can we do in those two problems. We'll try to solve those problems together and try to look at how can we like think about these problems, right? Okay. So today we'll take out two problems, very interesting problems, and I think these are the real type of problem you should prepare. Okay. Let me share my screen quickly and we'll try to think about these problems. Okay. I don't know if you guys are able to read the problem or not. I think it's a little too small for you to read. So we will look at this problem once. This is one of Rippling OA's questions, right? And I think this is pretty interesting and it has already happened, so we can pick this up. And the second problem that we'll take is actually from an offline test for a company, right? Which I felt it was pretty interesting. This is the first question, and this is the second question, which was like an offline machine coding or an LLD round, you can say, right? There's a slight difference between each. So I'll expect it to be asked to a fresher at this point in time, but we'll try to discuss this problem. So these are the two problems that we'll take up today, and we'll try to understand how can we do these kind of questions. Okay. Is this weekly thing from now on? Yeah. As soon as you submit good problems in the form, if there are enough problems to start a stream, we can do even before a week as well. Okay. There's no foundation on whether we'll do it for a week or not. Okay. As soon as I have good problems to discuss in the stream. Okay. So fill any problems that you want me to pick up in these streams. Okay. So this is the problem. This is the problem. And the problem says that you are given. So let's start with the first problem, right? Let's start with the first problem. You are given an array which says where exactly the ping is coming. Okay. I'll let you read the problem too as I'm reading. So you have an array of binary signals. Each signal initially has a value of 0, right? There are n different pings which will change their value from 0 to 1. So the ith ping affects the signal I, like ping I, right? So suppose the first thing that comes is 1. So from an array of 0, 0, 0, 0, the first index becomes 1. So the array becomes this. Next comes 2. So the array becomes 2, 1 at 2. Next, you get 4. Your array becomes fourth position becomes 1. And then you get 3, so the array becomes 1, right? So after every ping, the question says after every ping, you have to find out how many moves of this sweep. There is a sweep defined here. Okay. This is the rippling away problem. Somebody asking which problem is this? This is the rippling away problem, which I was kind of talking about. And we'll try to solve this also from a perspective of, let's say, interview, right? Like if this is given to you in an interview, how do you think? Yeah, it is almost like bubble sort, but you have to solve this after every ping. So for every array, you have to solve this problem, right? Okay, so we're saying by that Increff problem is sent by me. Okay, it's actually good problem. Thanks for sending it up. We'll take it up today, and I'll approach it from a machine coding round perspective. So there is a sweep defined which says that, like in each sweep, the array goes through left to right, swapping adjacent element where there is 1 followed by a 0. So let's say there is an array like this. Okay, so the it will sweep like this, and it will see 1 followed by 0. So it will make this 0 this 1. Okay, then it sees 1 followed by 1, so it will not do anything. Then it will see 1 followed by 0, so it will make this 0 make this 1. So after one sweep, it will be like this. Okay, this is the sweep operation. So you had to draw this first. I think the question statement was a little confusing, but then if you draw this, you'll get a clear idea on how things work, right? And then you basically have to figure out after every ping, whatever is the array that is getting created, what is the minimum number, what is the number of sweeps needed. So for this, when you do one sweep, first this will swap. Then since it is 1 followed by 0, then this will also swap. Then it is 1 followed by 0, it will be swapped. So it will become 0, 0, 0, 1. And then since there was a swap, there will be a second sweep as well, which means it has to detect that it has been sorted, then it will stop. So now it will say that no swap, no swap, no swap. So stop. So total 2 sweeps needed. First sweep converts this to this. Second sweep converts, says this is a final condition, stop. Okay. Did you get the problem statement? So given a new array, like in first step, it will become like, in the first step, it will go like this. Then in the next step, it will go like this. Okay. Then in the next step, it will say that then it will remain same. So it will terminate. So you will need 1, 2, 3 sweeps in total for this array. For this array, in the first sweep itself, there will be no swap. So it will stop, and the first sweep itself will mark this as done. Okay. It's like count of ones who are not continuous at the right end plus 1 for the final sweep. Some kind of inversion count. But a lot of things are happening parallelly, no? If you think about it, a lot of things are happening parallelly. Okay. It's a fairly interesting problem if you think about it. And constraint of n, I assume that I do not know the constraint as such. Let me see the constraint was given or not. Let me quickly check. Yeah, n is up to 10 to the power 5. Okay, n is up to 10 to the power 5, which makes sense. Because if it's up to 10 to the power 3, then you can do O of n square, and that will easily pass. You can simulate this sweep in O of n, and in n steps, it will stop. Maximum the answer is n, and in O of n you can do the sweep. So in n square, though, you can solve this very, very easily. So n is up to 10 to the power 5, which is, I think, obvious from the given problem, because or else it's too easy to solve, right? So you have to think about this particular problem. Okay. Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, if I think about it, it's exactly the number of iteration needed for bubble sort. No, I mean, it's it's absolutely same as bubble sort. I feel a little different, like depends on the implementation exactly, but For each step, will it be like distance of 1 from the right end and this rightmost keeps shifting 1? It might not, right? Because the part is like if it is 0 0 0, right? In the next step it will become 0 1 0, and then in the next step it will become 0 0 1. Okay, so it's not like it will shift together, because it will check, can it swap? No, but it can swap, so it will go next and then it will go, right? So now we need to figure one. It's like minimum swaps to make the array sorted. Yeah, that is true. Minimum number of sweeps needed to make the array sorted. Minimum sweeps, not the swaps. If it was swaps, then it was probably just inversion count kind of a problem. But it's not the same, because some swaps are happening parallelly. Okay. Many of you guys are saying that just count the inversion or count the number of swaps needed. Some of the swaps are happening parallelly, no? So think about this. There is 0 1 0 1 1 0, right? In the next step it will become, and in the next step it will become, and in the next step it will become this. Okay, got it? So it's not like all are shifting together. This one made stayed here and this one had to stay the next step because this one stayed here for that time. Okay, and the thing is, you don't need to solve it just for one array. You have to solve it after every ping. So there are multiple arrays that for which you have to solve this problem. Interesting question, right? This feels like an coder E problem. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. It's not like I have come memorized the solution of this problem. So we'll try to think about these problem, okay? Because I don't want to be like, oh, there is a question that I have prepared and I'll just come and show you the solution, because there is no fun in that, okay? Because when you learn how to think is when you probably can solve a new problem given to you, okay? Okay. Infosys OA hoga. Yeah, I mean, if you submit the Infosys OA in the form in the description, probably will take it the harder problems. Let's say the positions of A1 after one sweep, it will become. No, that's not true. No. A1 plus 1. Yeah. No, no, not necessarily, right? If there is 1 1 0 1 1 0 0 0, it will become 1 0 1 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, like it's like sliding the one to the next position where it will stop. Okay, I got Citadel hacker inkling. Doable problems भेजो guys. ये कैसी बातें कर रहे हो तुम लोग? DPO of I is sweeps required for the ith ping. Now for some I, if the current ping is adjacent, then we can apply some property. Interesting. That's a good observation. That's a good observation. So the first thing I feel is, think about finally for this particular array, forget about what is happening in the first step. Okay, finally this one, okay, is like, it is going to be this as the final position, right? Yeah, this is going to be the final array. What are you trying to send? Is it inversion count and all? Like, what are you trying to send in the chat? Yeah, don't try to solve it with like something you are trying to think of. No, it's not the way you are thinking. Okay. So final positions we know. So this one, when it goes to over here, we can say that this will stop, right? I mean, it might so be that this one reached at the end, but this one did not. So it will reach over here and then it will step. So can I say when the first one ends, can I say that is the time when you are going to get the answer? Like that is the step. The last step when this one reaches this place is find the last zero in the array, and after the ping, count how many ones are before that last zero. Call this not necessarily true, right? Okay, this is rippling OA's question. Okay, so for the first one, in how many moves will it reach the last position? Either in zero or in one move, right? So let's suppose there are bunch of ones. Okay, what will be the answer for this? The way it will slide is there is this one will get here, this one will get here, this one will get here, this one will get here. Okay, in the next move, this one will get here, this one will come over here, this one will come over here. Okay, in the next move, this one will come over here, this one will come over here, this. In the next move, all the four ones will come over here. Correct? Keep track of all the ones in the array. In each ping, see how far one goes there. Keep track of all the positions of ones on the array, and after each ping, see how far each one is where it should be. Yeah, correct. I think that we can do, but like the sliding is happening in a continuous fashion, right? So if you maintain it for all the positions, it will be O of n, and we need to solve it in O of n for n different arrays. So it's not as easy as you think. Okay. So this is the first thing that comes to my mind, that we can figure out that this one will take one move. So if this one takes one move, in one move it will reach over here, and then it has to just get to the correct position. So this one will take two moves. This one will take, it will reach over here, and when this reaches the next move, it will reach. So it will take three moves. This one will find it, so it will reach over here, and after three moves, it would have been over here. So it will reach the next position in this fourth move. Okay, correct. Now let's try to figure out for another array. This is how you solve most of these problems. You go case by case, right? Okay, let's take another one in between so that we can figure out. Okay, so see what is happening. In the first move, this will become the new array. In the next move, this will become the new array, and in the next move, this will become the new array. Correct? Okay. Mark the index as 1 if this index is before last 0, increment zeros before. If this index is at last 0, move last 0 until left. Yeah, that is correct simulation. Okay. But I don't know, like, if that will be off, like, there we can do, like, we have to possibly do updates in the answer as well, right? So if I see, so my thesis is for the last zero, let's see the number of ones before it. So in the first move, this one will cover this last zero. Then this last zero comes over here. Then this one will get covered with the last zero. Then this one will get covered with the last zero, and you would have the sorted array. Okay. So if I suppose have bunch of ones, if you focus on the last zero, will it take one move to cross this, and till then nothing can stop it from becoming 0 1? Yes or no? Correct. No matter what happens here, no matter what happens here, no matter what happens here, this last one has to take one move to swap and get to the right position, and this zero will be just before it. Then if you focus on this zero, it will have to swap with the last one again to become this one and this zero. No matter what has happened, the count of ones remain on the same side as 7 only. Now this zero will swap with the last one, and there will be 6 left, and one more things will be left over here. Okay. So can I try to say that this last zero is what matters in my problem? This last zero, if I figure out the last zero and the number of ones before it, can I maybe solve this problem? If I figure out what is my last zero, I think somebody was mentioning this only. I'll probably take that as the correct answer. The last zero slowly swaps with the last one. The last zero slowly swaps with the last one. Even if there are big gaps, like even if there are big gaps, the last zero is over here. In the next move, it will swap with the last one, no matter what happens. Now this will, like my mistake, I'll just quickly draw this over here. This will again make it bring over here and slide it all over here. So last zero is over here, 1 1 1, and then this will swap again, so it will become one, like 0 here and 1 1 1. So can I say the last zero and the count of 1 before it? So my logic for a particular array would be find the last zero, the count of 1 before it is my answer. Correct. Plus 1. I mean, that many number of sweeps will be required. Clear, everyone? Count of 1 before the last zeros plus 1 will always be my answer. And this is how you build observation. I did not think about this logic before coming to the stream. Okay. This was just, I was trying to derive. See, I just drew one example. I tried to draw example where there are big gaps. I tried to draw an example where there are big gaps. And then I tried to see what if there are congested things happening. What is happening over here? Right. And then that makes me come to this observation that maybe this is what we are doing. Okay. So you have like given an array, say in this array 1 1 0 1, I'll figure out last zero. How many things are there before it? 2. So the answer will be 2 plus 1, which is 3. Last zero, number of ones before it, again 3. Last zero, number of ones before it, 2. No zero, answer is 1. Clear, everyone? Correct. Does this make sense to everyone? We can use stack for this. Not really. You cannot use stack for this problem, because now you will have to deal with an array where there are bunch of zeros, right? Some one got converted. So last zero is over here. Okay. So you can count the number of ones before it. You can actually do it with some sort of pointer also. Like you can use segment tree and all, but it might be an overkill. Suppose the next one is over here. What is the answer right now? What will be the answer for this array? What will the answer for this array? Last 0, number of ones before it, 2. So answer is 3. Correct? Now, next, like, suppose you change this. Okay. So total number of ones is now 3. But this is no longer last 0. So I will move this pointer backwards. Okay. But since I crossed over a 1, number of ones that are before me is now still 2. Okay. Number of ones, so I'll not maintain just count of ones. I will maintain number of ones before last 0, which is right now 2, because I crossed over a 1. Okay. So again, the answer will be 2 plus 1, 3. Now suppose somebody flips this. So since this index is before the last 0 position, my count of zeros before last 0 will increase and it will be 3. So for this array, the answer is 4. Now, if you suddenly flip this position, now this is where things get interesting. So suppose suddenly you flip this position. So your last 0 was over here, right? It's like a pointer. So you can say that, hey, I am at this index, so my count got increased. But now I have to go back to find the last 0. So it will decrease again. Since I crossed over a 1, it will decrease to 3. Hey, it's not a 0, so decrease again. 2, decrease again. 1, because I'm crossing over ones. This is my last 0 now. Okay. And the number of count is maintained in this variable. So answer will be 2 in this case. Did you get the idea that you can maintain this with a pointer also? I mean, you can do it with segment tree and all also. Like segment tree and all is possible, but that will be way big of an overkill. Like if you do typing these kind of things, and like in an OA, if you spend this much amount of time of writing segment tree and all, you will spend too much time. If you think about this logic, it's way faster, right? Yeah, 2 pointer, technically it's 1 pointer. Okay, it's technically 1 pointer. If I think about it, it's just 1 pointer moving backwards, right? And since this pointer only moves over here, it is armatized O of n. This movement is armatized O of n, so it will not take much time. Yeah, after each flip, we will have to keep going backwards till we find a 0. And if you're crossing a 1, we will decrease the count of ones before the current index. Okay. Clear, everyone? What is the idea? Okay. If you think about like implementing this, I mean, I think that should be fairly straightforward. I'll just quickly maybe write a bit of code to give you an idea. I think most people who watch my regular streams should be able to code this fairly easily, but I'll just quickly code this problem. Right. So suppose you are given the positions that are flipping. The way I think about it is, this is like a data structure for which I need to do. Think about this. Every time what is there is, I need to do some sort of counter, right? And it has to give me the int count, get flips, zooming. Okay, I'll just zoom in quickly and I'll move to the code. Okay, get count, that how many flips would be required, integer last, I mean, you can do this in last 0. Where is my last 0? Right. And integer ones. These two things is what matters, right? And we can initialize this counter with all zeros, right? And this is basically, you figure out the last 0 and you figure out the 1 before last 0 is 0. So anytime you want the count, you will just simply return ones before last plus 1. This is your answer always. And whenever you are asking for flip, which position are we flipping, right? So basically, if position is less than equal to the last 0, we will do ones before last 0 plus plus, and we will make current of this position equal to 1. This got flipped, right? Okay, this position got 1. But now, while the current of last 0 is not equal to 0, right? While the index is bigger than this and you are at not 0, you will decrease this further, and you will try to go backwards and try to see if we are getting some 0 or not. This is what is happening. Okay, this is how we can do it. Are structs better than classes? I mean, that's a good question. I would say there's no such as difference, but if I don't need the access qualifiers and stuff, I don't really need a class for now, right? But yeah, ideally these should be private. This constructor and all, we can do that. Okay, so this is essentially a counter that you can create of integer n size, right? And you can do n number of things. I mean, I don't want to go into good practices and all, but yeah, this should be enough for the code. And now, like, this is your current array. You maintain the last 0. Every time you get a position to flip, it is becoming 1. So if it is before the last 0, the count is increasing. You convert that to 1. And if it is no longer the last 0, you keep decreasing until you find the last 0. Okay. Was in an interview wrote the struct for data structure. They said you are writing in a C++. Why not use classes? Why not writing classes? Yeah, I mean, ideally, if an interview, I might choose to write in classes because, yeah, I mean, if I was in an interview, maybe I'll use a class only, right? Those things, like, for now doesn't really matter much, but yeah, these things would be private, these things would be public, and yeah, you can just flip certain positions and all, right? Okay. Yash, counting the parallelogram I had discussed in the last stream, check it out. There was a midpoint theorem that I shared which can be used. Again, you have to remove the collinear things which I pinned in the comments as well. But like the parallelogram logic I had told, that diagonal like midpoints are same point are diagonal are parallelograms. That logic you can use. Okay, so this is the data structure which you can use to solve this problem. Clear, everyone? Does this make sense to all? How did we build the logic from first principles, writing a lot of cases, thinking what is happening with the ones, thinking about what is changing and all? Okay. Yes, I have shared that in the pinned comment of the last video. So Jasimus had, like, Laksh has sent the code on LinkedIn and I had added it as a pinned comment in this. Okay. Okay. Clear, everyone, on this problem? Shall we move to the next problem, which is little bit on the LLD side or machine coding side of things? I think that would be more interesting because probably you guys have seen me only thinking that, oh, Vivek teaches DSA, CP. Let's take a problem which is not in these realms, right? Let's talk about designing some algorithm, right? Now, this is not Amazon OA, this is Rippling OA. Okay. So the next problem that we're going to take is this one. This was Increff's like problem. This is way more interesting actually, like I feel now, because I felt like these are problems that people don't even expect, right? People don't expect that you might be given such a problem and you have to solve it in an actual setup. And people don't practice LLD. Like, see, First of all, people don't even understand the realm, right? There is something called as algorithmic design. Okay. The data structure that you saw in my last code, this code that I showed you, this is almost like an algorithmic design, which can support an initial counter, flipping and getting count. This is called algorithmic design. Then there is something called as machine coding. Okay. Which almost this problem would lie in. And even beyond this, there is something called as LLD or low level design. Okay. So this is the spectrum on which you are preparing. And I feel for freshers, you need to do these two specifically, very for sure. And if you are applying for like SD2 plus roles, you have to prepare LLD as well. Vivek, what is the difference? This is almost like designing a class that can support an operation fast. You have to design an operation fast. This is the problem of algorithmic design. You have to design a data structure that can do certain operations fast. For an example, you can insert, remove, find the mean, find the median, find the mode very fast. Okay. Then you have machine coding, which is this problem that you have to design certain functionalities. And it is longer, like it is greater than 1 hour kind of, like greater than equal to 1 hour kind of problems. Okay. These are almost like a lead code problem only, lead code medium, lead code hard problems. And this is a little different. This is mostly on structuring code. And this is like focusing a little bit around like your language skills, oops principles. This also expects you to have oops and all, but not beyond that. This expects you to have design patterns included in the code. This expects you to use like a lot of good questions and all. And this is pure design problem, which means you have to interact with the interviewer and do something in this. From my expectation in this, they have given a 3 hour time and you have to just solve this problem. You have to write these functions and all. Okay. You are free to determine this structure. Okay. And I expect you to do these things fast. Like the optimality of these kind of conditions is what matters. Okay. There are many such rounds that happen like this. I don't know if you understand, this machine coding is becoming very common these days in many companies, right? Yeah, just pay. I was just gonna come to just pay's problem, right? So there is this famous problem that JustPay also asks, which is locking a tree, unlock a tree, and upgrade a particular node's lock. If you want to search it, you can search it. I can. Okay, maybe I'll show it to you. I want to show it to you all. Like, what does JustPay asks? Okay, they also ask a very like they had changed some of the questions this year, but mostly they have asked this problem many a times. Okay. I'll give you an idea of what an algorithmic design questions look like. And they make it lock safe and all in the next round. Okay. So I'll just give you an idea what JustPay's round look like. This is another problem that JustPay has been asking for a fairly long time, like locking of tree spaces and all. This is a very common problem that JustPay asks and all. These things we do in like CST in algorithms also, right? That you can, there are these problems and you have to solve certain cases. You have to design algorithms like lock, unlock, and upgrade lock. This is the first step that it takes. There are some inputs and all. You have to write the code for it in an hour or so. And then they will ask in the next round is you have to make it thread safe and all. Like there's some certain kind of problem and all. Okay. Every year they keep changing, but again, sometimes people are lazy, so they don't change. So you should prepare. You should prepare in a way that you can get employability now. Yeah, exactly. Like once, like every year it should change. It's just that people are lazy and they don't change companies, sadly. So I've seen companies repeating, right? We have a big corpus of all these previous year questions in Algorithm also. So I would recommend you all to solve those OA questions. Companies, I have seen Uber repeating question. I've seen big companies repeating questions even in OAs. So people who prepare these rounds are able to crack them very easily. Okay. So this is the problem. Let's try to read it now. We are today in the realm of machine coding. Okay, we are in the realms of machine coding. This is almost like algorithmic design, just that you have to design things better. Okay, so let's try to look at the problem. The question is saying that you have to build a logic for keyboards autocomplete, which is a very interesting thing. Okay, you have three major goals to achieve. The process input whenever a new key is processed. The sentence till now and a new character will be given to you, like good, M, and this. Example input is this, output should be the concatenation of this. Okay. With every method call above, also return max 3 suggestions that can also be used to this. For example, process character input. If you are given this and O, it will write this on the screen, but it will give suggestions that, oh, you are writing MO. So maybe you are trying to write morning, model, or motivation. Okay. Now, next thing they are saying is autocomplete selection. That somebody might want to choose that, hey, I want to go ahead and type this. Okay. So they will come change it back to like the output should be this. Okay. Oh, question so kar do. My mistake. I have to zoom in, right? I think so. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so it's saying either append this character at the end of the string. When you're appending, whatever is the new string, find its auto completes for the last words like morning, model, motivation. Okay. And the third thing is, if you are giving the auto completes and somebody says, hey, select this option, then they will select this. Okay. They're saying, Vivek, thank you, Bhaiya, for you. I got selected in Misho SD1. I was asked partial sums on trees. I implemented binary lifting from scratch and solved the problem and got selected. Oh, nice. Very happy to see this. Partial sums on binary lifting was something I have taught in AZ. So it's very, very interesting topic. And I'm very happy to see that came actually in the interview. Okay, good. Nice. Nice. If you have solved I think I'll also agree to this. 340, 350 problems of AZ should be enough to crack any OA, I feel. Okay. Ajay, happy to have a chat here after this. Like, please fill the Hall of Fame. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we have made this Hall of Fame right now to like help you let us know that Vivek कुछ तो अच्छा लग गया है, and I'll get on a one-on-one call also plus goodies and all का reward भी है. So please go to Hall of Fame once. ठीक है, ये Hall of Fame पे जाके एक बार like my achievement में add achievement कर दोगे. I'll get on a call with you. मेरे को जानना भी है कि मीशो का अभी क्या क्या चल रहा है. Because see, the way you can help others is by knowing what is going on in the industry, right? So I have to keep talking about things going on. Okay, so you can fill this. Okay, so autocomplete the last word. Now the thing is, I know that this problem was probably like not really expecting you to build the best possible solution, but we will try to do it in an algorithmically best way possible because so for those who are beaten and all, probably this is not something we have covered yet. In the next section, like this weekend, you have your DP contest, and then next weekend we'll start with the other topics, segmentary strings, tries, and all. So this is a try problem. It's a very standard problem. We'll look at it. Okay. Okay. So this is something we are doing that given a good M and mod O, we have to process this. We have to give suggestions. And we have to, if somebody selects an autocomplete, we have to autocomplete as well. How do you guys do this? Okay. How do you do this? So I think the first important thing is to understand delimiters, right? Delimiters, right? Which is essentially this space. Like if you are writing good space M, the last word is what matters, right? The last word is what matters. So you go in this string, you go back and figure out this delimiter. Before this, it doesn't even change anything. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen with this last word. Does this make sense to everyone? Whatever is going to happen is going to happen with this. So this part remains intact. Let's call this like fixed prefix. This will remain as it is. It will not change. We will move, suppose think of this as a string. We will go till the last delimiter and remove this part and kind of copy it out into a separate string S, and maybe remove this part from this original string also if required, right? So original fixed string will be till the last delimiter, and this part got copied into a new string called S. Okay. Fixed prefix is till the last part, like good dash, this will be the like space, and S will contain capital M. Okay. This is the parts that we will break it into. Now your logic is, if you have O, you know that this S is going to become MO, right? So the output of this is nothing but fixed prefix plus S plus the character that you have given right now, right? This is going to be the output, obviously. Okay. Now the next part is, how do you generate the three suggestions? Like from M, O is added. Now you have to generate three suggestions that can fill over here. Now, if you have seen, given a prefix, find the suggestions. This is a very, very classic problem. And in fact, like folks who are from AZ cohort, so you should detect it automatically. This is try, right? Yeah. I mean, if you guys are on AZ, so then this should be a direct problem for you. If you go to the try course, on string try, there is this question called auto suggestion, which is almost the same problem. That given a prefix, you have to find the suggestions that matches with it. Find the strings that can autocomplete this. Return the k lexicographically minimum words that can be used as an autofill for this particular word. Right? This is exactly that. So this is going to be like, you have a try which contains a lot of words. If you're going to MO, you will reach this node, and on this side, you can maintain in the try all the words like morning, model, motivation. D, morning, R, motivation, MOT. Right? And here it might be this, that MOTIVATION, motivation. Right? This is one way. Model. So when you reach this node, it's like you are currently on this node, right? And you are being asked to autofill this. So you will do a small DFS on this subtry, which is, you will go into this node, this node, this node. Hey, this is a ending node. So you found that model is a suggestion. Then track back. If there is some word over here like MODEST, and this is an ending word, so you will say modest is another suggestion, right? And it will track back. If you go here, MOR, some morning, this is the end word. So morning will get suggestions generated. As soon as you hit 3 characters, 3 different suggestions, you can kill the DFS, right? And in this DFS, you can ensure that the lexicographically smallest suggestions are generated. Okay. That is something that we can possibly do to generate the suggestions. I think the harder part was that only, that how do you generate the suggestions? Okay. Another option that you can possibly do, like for this interview at least, is that if you are not versed with try, suppose you have words like morning and all, you can say for M, there is a list. For MO, there is a list. Like any word that comes, like say morning, or let's say model. For M, model is a potential. For MO, model is a suggestion. For MOD, model is a suggestion, right? So this is something you can do. You can maintain like O of n square number of prefixes, and for all of them you can maintain some sort of index, like this is the new word that you got, say 1 1 1, these are possible, like index 1 is possible, right? This is something that you can do. Okay, this is essentially what this requires. This is another way that you can save for all things. So when you hit MO, in that list there will be model, so you can print the first 3 of that list if you want. Okay, or you can maintain only the top 3. You can only maintain the top 3, rest you will not even save. So for every word, every different possibility word, you will only get the 3 things saved over here. Okay, for every word, say A, B, C, D, you will save A contains, say this is Xth word. You will say X is possible. A, B, X is possible. Xth word is possible. A, B, C, Xth word is possible. A, B, C, D, Xth word is possible. Then A, B, B, B comes. So A, Y is, say this is the Yth word. Y is possible. A, B, Y is possible. A, B, B, you will add another one. Y is possible. So map of string, comma, vector of int, which is the string ID for that. This is also another way in which you can generate the suggestions. And you will never let this vector go bigger than 3 size. It will always be less than equal to 3 size. Right? So this is another way in which you could have implemented this. And I think when you are in your college, I don't think like companies think too much about how did you implement it, as long as the outputs are coming correct, right? Okay. A method that gets triggered when, like, now think about, so this is how you generate the 3 suggestions. Now when you are doing this last part, that this autocomplete is given, the idea is very, very simple. You know it's a suggestion, so again find that good, you will just figure out this part, that this was the S and this was the fixed prefix. Instead of find the fixed prefix again and append the, like, remove the S from it at the end and add the autocomplete, like MORNING. So it will change that string in place. Ajay was saying this question was asked to me in Misho round 1 interview. Oh, nice. Very good. Oh, very interesting. Somebody say that this was in chef question, but anyways, super happy to know that this is also in Misho. Okay. So this is how you can do this. And there are certain implementation level details also that you should know. Like, for an example, I expect this first part, like this string, okay, this sentence till now to be big, right? So you would not want it to be like, when you are like building this keyboard, right? So now if I forget about this part, forget about this, and like let's try to write class keyboard, right? I mean, we don't really have a state. This is, you are asked to create this stateless, because sentence till now is getting passed every time. Okay, sentence till now is getting passed every time, so it's a stateless machine. You are being passed the current state as well as the new thing to be done. So there is no state. So there are just 2 public functions to be created. One is process character input, right? And there is the string, since it will be passed as reference, so I can keep it like this, sentence till now, and character new character, This is the thing to be done. So see, there are multiple ways. If input is this, the output should be this. So there is no fixed method, fixed way in which, so it is asking that the same function will return the output and the suggestions also. So a very good way of implementing this is to actually write a separate class of response. Like what will be the expected response of this, right? So, I mean, given that we are in a CP scope, we can do something like this. That ideally this is not even expected. Ideally this should be a state with state maybe, and then you are changing the string itself. Ideally I would have just returned a vector of int, vector of string, that are the suggestions, and this sentence till now would get edited with the new character, right? So that would be the way in which I would have implemented it. But the question is saying that there should be two different outputs, so maybe you could have done it in a different way as well. Okay. And then the other question says that, or a very good way of doing it would be to actually create a response class, right? The third thing is there, process suggestion selection. uh, the output would be a string. I mean, I would have changed the input string till now only if you somebody selects the suggestion, but the question says that we should ideally do stateless, so I'll just do this necessary. It's not really the right way. Ideally I would have created a class. Depending on the interviewer, I would have selected what to do, right? Process suggestion selection. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? And this is essentially what you are trying to create. These two functions, which take these two parameters, and this function also takes this parameter, and you need to complete this, right? So by default, we need to have some sort of like dictionary that we will have to create. We can assume that there is some sort of class dictionary which will have given like and right, given a prefix, find all the suggestions. So this is something that you can implement in whatever way you want, right? I can create an abstract class and let somebody else to implement this particular dictionary, right? And I can create a word like a, I don't know if you guys, I'm not sure how many of you are good with implementing in object oriented way, but ideally this should be some sort of interface or an abstract class essentially. And you would create an object of this, like with a pointer of this in the keyboard, which gets initialized, and somebody implements, like somebody passes the, okay, I do not want to go into LLD for now, right? Yeah, vector of string, sorry, my mistake. Get 3 suggestions or get k suggestions, maybe whatever it is, right? So ideally this, I mean, I don't want to teach oops right now, but the ideal way would be you create this as an abstract class, you create a pointer to the object of this in the keyboard, and there will be some sort of design pattern being used where you like initialize this with the correct pattern. I don't know how many of you know design patterns. Do you know design patterns properly? How many of you have studied design patterns? I don't want to get into design patterns today because I specifically scoped it to machine coding and not to design patterns. But ideally you should study these things. Like nowadays LLDs are being asked every here and then, so this would be like an app interface which has a pointer over here and you initialize that, right? So all these things are there, right? A very good resource to learn design patterns is this, right? Okay. and you can pass in like the strategy. You can use some sort of strategy pattern to figure out which strategy to use to generate the autocomplete. You can let the dictionary with an autocomplete being passed as a strategy that can be used when you are generating the suggestions. It will be the part of the strategy, and there can be multiple different implementations of strategy in that case. This is called LLD. Okay, for those, I mean, I have taught the basics of this in the last crash course that I took over here, right? The design patterns classes, but you can learn more on your own. I think there has been full camps also for design patterns. You can use anything. I think strategy should be enough for this problem, right? I can pass the strategy to generate the autocomplete, and then the autocompletes are used by the keyboard in whatever way it is implemented. Okay. So these kind of things you'll have to study, and that's why I want you all to implement these things on your own once, right? So there are two parts. One is LLD to be like, this is an abstract class that needs to be implemented in different ways, dictionary strategy, or there are many more things that you can learn. I don't want to get into too much of details in an LLD fashion today. Okay. I have taught a framework of solving LLD problems also in that. You can have a look at that. Yeah, so implement this. I think I don't want to go into details. Implement the way I showed you. Maybe that should be enough. This is like for you to do, right? Write these functions, create this dictionary, right? These things are expected. This is expected of freshers nowadays. Don't be like, people think that you are still expecting DSA problems in only in all cases. No, system design is expected nowadays. LLD is for sure expected. Basics of HLD is expected for an SD1, and you are expected to know dev. You are expected to know DSA as well. Okay, so please learn these things. These things are important. You can learn it in Java also. You can learn it in C++. I happen to do it. Okay, in C++ only. I happen to do it in C++ because I majorly have done most of my coding in that. Plus Python I know a little bit, but it's just to do dev. I have learned enough, but I don't do that much of, I'll say, production level coding in Python as such as of now. Okay, cool. So this should be there. Now I just want to quickly show you the link that I have been talking about. Please make sure that if you want me to pick some problem, there is this form I have added. If you have any like OA question, interview DSA question that you want me to pick up, if you have any development task or assignment that you want me to pick up to discuss how to approach this in an actual interview, if you want me to take an LD HLD task, feel free to upload it and we'll take it in the next class as well, next stream itself. Okay, and we'll discuss about how to approach such problems. But I think this is something that you should definitely look at. Okay, or somebody asking when is the next batch of AZ starting? The previous batch started last weekend and it has been just 1 week of class, so you can still join that cohort only next week. Next batch will start probably in December. We have only 4 cohorts every year and I don't want to start more than that for now. Core CS depth. I don't know how many of you have seen the OS series on my channel. It's fairly good. I think it's fairly good. इंडिपेंडेंस डे ऑफर यार एक ही ऑफर है जो लास्ट कूपन मैंने ऐड किया है, वही एक कूपन है और अभी तो मेरे पास कोई कूपन नहीं है, राइट? यू कैन चेक आउट on the page, but I think that coupon gets you a fairly good discount, around 6,000 or so. Okay. Yeah, sure. Upload me machine coding rounds questions and we'll discuss how could you have approached it. Maybe in the next stream, I'll probably pick up a machine coding and try to code it also, like fully, like properly. Maybe I'll take an LLD problem, in-depth LLD problem, and try to code it the right LLD way. And I'll try to showcase maybe how to think about LLD interviews. I always judge the interview process. Like, are they expecting me to solve it algorithmically? Are they expecting me to just write the code? Are they expecting me to like write design patterns or LLD questions? you can generally go through the previous year experiences and understand what is the expectation of the company, and then based on that you can actually answer in the interview. Because I have seen there are questions, Uber from an SD1, mostly they expect machine coding only. I have never seen people expecting too much of design patterns from an SD1. This is something that is expected with SD2 onwards, and that also I think is very boring. I mean, like, I don't really encourage too much of LLD problems as such. Like, memorizing names of design pattern is not going to take you anywhere, but you should have general sense on how things are implemented in production. So that's why you should know. Okay. Machine coding definitely is asked in a lot of companies. Please prepare them. Please prepare them. This was just an example of that. Have you heard of GoQuant? Got an assignment task today, submit creating a model. Hey, don't send me assignments that are ongoing, okay? Like, I don't wanna like help you solve an ongoing assignment. These are previous assignments, that's why I'm taking it in the stream. Okay. Okay, cool. Great. Chalo, that would be all for today. Implement the problems, go through the stream again if you forgot something. I'll be there for like 2 more minutes if you have any query from me. Like, if you want to ask me anything. I just want to do. So the next stream onwards, we'll bring 4 problems specifically, and we'll try to do a lot of good things. I'll judge only based on, even my interviewer said that code should compile and run. Also, I'll be judged only based on solid principles and edge case handling. Yeah, then you should like use any strategy that is there. Solid principles, yeah, the things that are there that I shared, right? Abstract like, see, basically make everything abstract and let the implementation be passed and all as pointers. That is the basic idea of solid principles. Okay, as far as I understand, the basics of that is it. Okay, I have taken a class on solid principles, and we implemented a notification service in that. And how did we go from a bad code to a good code? We discussed that in the streams. So the end result is make everything abstract and pass everything as pointers of the base class, and let the downward functions call with the dependency which is actually required in that problem. That's all that ensures solid principles. And if you're writing too many if else, probably you need to think of what strategy, like how to remove that if else using some sort of factory and all. And like, you will probably learn these things when you learn oops and design pattern. Okay. Why you don't promote your course website on Twitter? Because I am not active on Twitter. That's the thing, I'm not active on Twitter. Okay, that's the thing, as simple as that. I think I have told about my like website Algozenith on LinkedIn and on YouTube, but I'm not really active on Twitter as such. Yeah, sure. I think that should be there. Maybe Ayush, you can submit me the assignment for a startup, like writing a queue and integrating webhooks and all. These are standard tasks these days. Don't think that you will be asked to write CRUD APIs these days to get selected in startups. Writing, making a quick front end, back end, writing a Docker compose to have another instance of a worker and a like a queue, and integrating webhooks and stuff. These all things are very much expected in most of the startup challenges. Oh, very happy to see that. Submit it. We'll probably discuss that in some stream, right? In LLD, you should know factory strategy singleton. You can implement every LLD question. Yeah, I think one more I feel is interesting is adapter pattern, because if you are like, I mean, I think factory strategy singleton, I understand. Strategy, you can use adapt, like you use strategy in place of adapter. I understand what you are saying. Yeah, factory strategy and singleton. Correct. I feel that is true. These 3 things are mainly the primer things that are asked. Observer patterns are sometimes expected, and I have seen adapter being expected a little one or 2 times, but rest everything I think mostly is these only. Correct. Good company with min salary or not well-known company with high salary? Depends on how many years of experience you have and what is your resume like. If you can take a risk, then maybe, but not always. I don't know, यार. Embedded के लिए मुझे कोई idea नहीं. I've never worked on any embedded program or any with any company like that, so I have no idea about embedded coding and all. For 10K intern, they made me do agentic AI task. Yeah, ठीक है, you got to learn nothing there. Okay. Cool. Chalo, let's wrap it up over here. I don't want to stretch it too much. I just wanted to start the series so that we have the platform now set. Send me the problems. We'll take it in the next stream also. We'll discuss a lot of problems. Okay. But I hope you enjoy this new series. How many of you like this new theme of solving mixed problems from different companies and all? Did you like this new idea, new theme? But the first thing I'll do is I'll also replace this Increff and Misho. Probably I'll do that. Right. Okay. Yeah. Binge more. Yeah, I mean, probably if you watch more and more of these sessions, you will be more prepared for all internships and placement tests over time, right? So it will be very helpful for many. Okay, do make sure to check out the Telegram group where I keep posting many more such things. If you're not on Telegram till now, you are missing out on a lot of content. I'll quickly post the Telegram link also if you haven't joined that yet, because I keep posting the updates of these streams over there. I'll pin this for everyone. Okay. लीड कोड सीरीज वापस ले आओ यार, कभी तो करेंगे फॉर श्योर, बट आई थिंक अभी तो ये कर रहे हैं. ओके, लेट्स सी. लीड कोड also will do यार. लीड कोड ऐसा नहीं कि I'll stop, but it's not as regular as possible, so I thought I'll do another video type of video, because sometimes I feel like there are not enough interesting questions being picked by lead code, but there are like super helpful things in those things. Okay, what is XP in chat? I mean, I'm also new to YouTube streaming and all. You can check it out yourself. Okay, लीड कोड में जोर बेसिस पूछा था, सो पढ़ा है ना, वो तो यूट्यूब पे कवर्ड है. इफ यू सी द जोर बेसिस वीडियो ऑफ माय यूट्यूब, आई डोंट थिंक एनीथिंग कैन कम बियॉन्ड दैट. Okay, how to get 1600 after doing AZ course? Give contests, see which topic you are facing issue on. If you are facing issue on ad hoc and greedy, do the div to C ladder on the website. That will be super helpful. Okay. Do you feel you don't know anything before interview? Yeah, I used to feel, but I haven't given many interviews these days, so I don't know how I'll feel. But probably, yeah, maybe I agree to that. I agree to that. Cool. Chalo, that would be all from my side today. Thanks for joining in, everyone. I hope you guys like this new series. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you have stick till this point, and I'll see you in the next stream. Till then, keep coding, keep learning. Bye bye. Have a good night.